Rudy is known as the millionaire real estate agent maker at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. His passion is to help real estate agents and brokers 10x their income with no cold calling, no prospecting, and no door knocking. He has been featured on ABC, CBS, Fox News. Riz Media named him as the 2020 Real Estate Newsmaker. And Exelon Magazine also named Rudy as the top 10 most admired business leaders in 2021.
Instead of focusing on your weakness, instead of trying to improve what you are weak on, if you want to be successful, focus on your strength, develop your God-given talent, because every single one of us, we all have this God-given talent, right? But then, if you don't practice, you don't develop your God-given talent, it's useless. Look at every athlete or anybody that's successful in their field. Do you think they're born like that? They practice every single day. Right. But they practice on the one thing. Yeah. The problem with real estate agents, DJ, they try to practice on the stuff that like 20 different stuff. So now they become average in everything.
Hello. Good morning. Today, welcome to our Superstars Agents Panel podcast. But today is special. Because we have our superstars, my friend. I think we've known each other for over, close to 10 years. The legend, Mr. Steve de Laveaga. I first met you, I think about 15 years ago. I remember I flew to somewhere in Phoenix, Arizona, and he was having this private mastermind. It's a super exclusive group. All the top agents in the area. I think it was some sort of dinner or whatever. It's a private mastermind. So that was my first time. I met you about 15 years ago. And I've seen you in the last 15 years. You always surround yourself with the top agents. But today, you are here to share a lot of opportunities that's available. So without further ado, Mr. Steve de Laveaga, welcome to our Superstars Agents podcast. Now, typically thank you, Steve. Welcome to be here. Steve, why don't you do a quick introduction about you, and also so that everybody know that you are your environment, who you surrounded matters, and then follow up with what are you going to share today? What's the opportunity that's coming up for real estate agents in this market today?
Love it. I first want to say something, Rudy, you made a great point. We've been knowing each other for 14, 15 years, and we've both been able to evolve. When I met you as you, plus your bride and one agent, I think. And now you've got over 100 agents. You've got 25 different lead sources. You're the number one converting agent in Zillow in the US. You consume the most distressed verified data seller leads for me in my world, and we have grown up together. So I want to remind everybody, real estate is the greatest ROR business in the world, return on relationships. Rudy and I we haven't worked together every year, but we found ourselves every 2 to 3 years to say, hey, I'm doing this, does this fit? We stayed in connection, we stayed in proximity, we stayed in relationship. And because of that now, he's one of my biggest partners, and I'm sure I'm one of his biggest. And so now we helped each other grow throughout the process. So remember this, ROR in real estate matters the most, okay? Now, I am blessed that I get to have a national role. I'm the CEO and founder of the Rev Firm, which stands for the Revenue Firm. Pretty simple. We help our agents, mortgage companies, title companies, technology firms, generate additional revenue through the most agnostic, largest ecosystem in the United States in real estate. I do not care about the logo on the front of your jersey. I don't care what brand you're with or what brokerage you're with. I care about the name on the back, because we have amazing leaders. We tend to work with that top 1.5% of real estate practitioners in the United States. So whether you're at JMG Group, whether you're Rudy, whether you're at EXP, Realty, LPT, doesn't matter to me. I want the best practitioners. We put them together, combine them with the best mortgage companies, title opportunities, technologies, and then in that ecosystem, success happens. One of the things that I'm asked to do and what I try to focus on in my world every single day is I need to see what's coming. When I worked at Fidelity, I always said to people, we weren't really a title company, we were a data company. And I would look at data and analyze trends 20, 30, 40, 45 years, and then you would see things. And right now, I'm in the midst of what is going to be the largest trend in real estate in the next 18 to 26 months, and that is the distressed seller space. Right now in America, Savannah, why don't we put up our PowerPoint for a second? Right now in America, we're talking about a level of distress that go ahead and click, Vanna, that you've never seen this before. You've got credit card debt at now nearly 1.2 trillion. It's the largest debt we've ever had in the United States history on the credit card side. And in July, more people were late or did not make a payment than at any time in the United States history. Then you go to things like private and public school debt for college. That's a $1.77 trillion debt, and 53% of those folks did not make an on-time payment in July because they think someone's coming to save them, or they just altogether said, we're not paying it. And then you have the next most debt, which is car loans, which is usually the second biggest expense in every household. That's at 1.67 trillion in debt. So go ahead as you go through this, Savannah, be clicking as I'm talking, please. There you go. So now you're looking at this, you're saying, okay, what's the good news? Well, the good news is you got $32 trillion of equity. We've never had this much equity in the United States ever. The average homeowner, if you take that through the average homeowner has $299,000 of equity. Well, great. We see the solution with this problem. Sell your home or refi it out, get the equity out, pay the credit card, pay the school debt, pay the car loan. Everybody's good. Challenge is we've been locked into these 2.75, 3.25 mortgage rates, and now you've got rates that were over 7. Well, now you've got rates finally coming down. The Fed's acknowledged it. Next week, you're going to hear the Fed either cut it by 25 basis points. About 51% of the financial analysis think it's going to be cut by 50 basis points. When that happens, you're going to have more and more and more people coming to the market to sell and or refi their property because now they can get that equity back and go pay bills. That's what's coming. So we are in this market of the moment. That's a true statement. Go ahead and click, Samantha. So now, why has the lead game changed? This is important for everybody in real estate to understand. Forever and a day, Homes.com changed the lead game. Okay? They changed it because they've taken eyeballs from everybody else. Now, when I say everybody else, I mean everybody. Realtor.com, Zillow, etc. Go ahead and keep clicking, Savannah. So now we're in a situation where Homes.com has had the fastest growth in traffic. They spent $1 billion driving eyeballs to their network. Why this is important is Homes.com does not sell leads. Let me say this again. You cannot buy a lead on Homes.com. They took a completely different model and brought it to real estate with billions of dollars. They believe your listing, your lead. So agents can't go in and say, I want to buy the Gilbert zip code in Arizona. I'll pay 12 grand a month. Give me all the inquiries. They don't have that model. If you have a listing, you have the opportunity to get that consumer's engagement. If you don't, you don't. So you can have a membership profile, you can have an enhanced membership profile, but you can't buy leads on Homes.com, which if they stay this model, we'll see if they do because it's a long slog. They have a big company. CoStar's a big firm. They're worth about $30 billion market cap. They can play this game for a while, but right now they're not monetizing all that traffic at a level they would like. However, they are growing. So less leads, 40% less leads. This is the lead game now in real estate. You've got red ocean. You've got sharks everywhere. You've got less consumers. You've got more agents trying to get to them. Leads being sold 10, 12, 14, 18 times. None of my big teams love playing that game because it's expensive. It's tough on the agent within their team, and the ROI, quite frankly, is difficult. However, what can we do? We can get in the niche. We understand, we use the term called DVD, distressed verified data seller leads. Because right now, you've got people, now mortgage is becoming a problem. Because now I've maxed my credit cards out. I got school debt, my car payments, because high interest rates also mean high car payments, by the way. You've got this rising. No one's talking about this because it's an election year, but trust me on this, distress is growing at a record we've not seen since 08, 09. And I lived through 08 and 09 in Arizona, so trust me, I know. Go ahead, Savannah, keep clicking. So now the question is, what's the answer? Well, as we go through these, you're going to see my job, my network, my lead teams. I got to move them to the front of the transaction. So as we do that, they become the tip of the spear. Secondly, can I verify distress? Can I get to the listing side? Those who list will last. Those who list will assure getting paid. That's the difference in the future. Can I verify the data? Make sure, yep, this is a consumer. This is the best phone number available. Can I get them to the front of the transaction before they get to these portals who want 35, 40, 45%, who don't offer leads? I've been able to take 210 million consumers and aggregate all of their data into one database for my agents so I can get that to them first. So when we do that, go ahead and click Vanna, you get Blue Ocean. How the data river works is this. In Rudy's case, he bought 2 excellent zip codes in LA. He bought 30 zip codes, but the first 2 he bought with me, he went ahead and said, okay, here are my 2 zip codes. I went ahead and ran the data. I had 400 consumers that came up as distressed. Now remember, that's the initial filter. Then I say, well, I've got to verify who they are. Can I tag an address, a name, a phone number, an email? Can I tag all of that and get it into one contact record and verify that's the consumer? And then I get down to 100. Then we have to run it through our AI engine that tells us what is the loans most likely to default? What are the banks least likely to work with them? And then are they currently in search somewhere? And now you get down to 35 actual verified folks in a zip code. These are exclusive leads. We don't send these out to multiple agents. We don't charge a success fee. These go to one agent. So that agent can fish correctly. So that agent is in Blue Ocean and can be an options dealer, because listing leads with data that have some distress are going to become sellers, whether it's 60, 90, 120, or quite frankly, 365 days. It's coming. And when my agents can get to the front of the transaction, as Rudy knows, they make more money. Go ahead and click. So in our world, make sure we understand this. Right now, there's not unlimited amounts because there's not unlimited distress. So seats are limited. We're sold out in about 80% of the markets in Arizona, sold out in 90% of the markets in Vegas, sold out in a lot of the markets in LA. So depending on where you are, we'll tell you if there's room to have that. If not, we can put you on a waiting list. Okay? Go ahead and click, Vanna. This is an example of what it looks like. Obviously, we give the name, most likely phone number, email, etc. Go ahead and click the next one, Savannah, which is a fun one. Now we track things like if they're late, how many days they're late, how many years they've been in the home. This allows our agents to get knowledge around the data that says, hey, if you've been here 60 plus years, now, is there a reason? Do you want to look at a reverse mortgage? Do you need some help now to stay in your property? Do you want to look at, is it now recently deceased and the kids just want to sell the house? Can we get a good cash offer close to market that makes sense? My realtors are options dealers with these folks, helping them with the best financial option for them. That's the key. If you're just trying to be an agent, call and get a listing, this is not your model. If you're trying to say, I've got options for you that you can make the best financial decision with the biggest asset you probably will ever have in your life, that's the agents I want in my program. You're as much financial advisors as you are real estate practitioners. Now, the math equation works like this. If in my world, we've been doing this now for 9 months, so we have math. If you're average at conversion, okay, that means you're not very good at it. All right. If you're going to go ahead and pay, $3,500 basically for these leads that we're going to give you 420 over a year, and you convert at 1.5%, which by the way, that's the worst converting partner I have. That's 5 to 7 transactions. On average, in your transactions, there's no success fee. So you get all of it. You make about 51 grand. So it's about a ballpark here, 1,100% ROI, no success fee, one-to-one exclusive data. So if you're not now, Rudy's a little different. He converts at a much higher level. He's 7 to 9%. But Rudy, as someone who's been doing this now with me, tell them what you do. You don't just call the lead once. Oh, the phone number wasn't good, Steve. I sent one email and I get out of it. Tell them your conversion strategy for each of these consumers.
Yeah, we have to do a lot of nurturing, right? So, for example, in our database, the most powerful, we drop off multiple cash offer on their home. So we go straight to the owner of the house and we literally drop off multiple cash offer on their home. So we are leveraging our buyers. So we have buyers who's looking to buy homes in that area. So when we work with buyers, we leverage this database as access to homes that's not available online. So let's say, Steve, as you know, the post-NAR settlement, when we work with buyers, we are telling our buyers, hey, in addition to homes that you can see online, when you hire me and my team as your exclusive agent, you have access to homes that you don't see online. And then this is one of them. And then what we do, we go straight to the owner of the house, generating the offer from our buyers. Multiple cash offer on our buyers. That's the one. The second thing, what we do, we work our database. We work our database, videos, email. Email is very powerful, but what's in the emails is offering the multiple cash offer on their home, making the same offers, which is multiple cash offer on their home. That's in addition to obviously call, email, text, direct mail. We send the postcards, drop off in person, and also there's one more. When you go online, it's called geo-targeting. So when the consumer go online, because Steve, you give every month, you give us a database of the homeowners. So when they go online, they can see our offering right there on their dashboard, wherever they see online. So those are all, we do it simultaneously.
You are an omni-channel converter. Because people go, oh, I called your numbers and a number of them weren't the right number. I go, well, of course, they're in distress. Their phone could be out. Doesn't matter. If you're lucky to if you talk to 50%, congratulations. But did you send a postcard? Did you knock on a door? Did you drop off a cash offer? Did you text anything? Did you put them on an email system? This is what conversion looks like. There is no easy button. You're talking to the biggest agent that Zillow has in the state of California for conversion. And Rudy, it's really simple. All those cash offers, how many people actually take them? Of the 65 deals you closed last month, you made a cash offer on all of them. How many actually took them versus actually ended up working with you and your agents?
It's 19, maybe one.
Yeah, if you don't understand, it's not the cash offer that they want to get it because they want to see it. But in the end, they go, well, Rudy, how much more can you? Oh, no, we could sell it for 60 days if you give me some time for 38,000 more net to you. Oh, you can net me more money? Much more money. I just need time to do it. Which one works for you? But the cash offer gets you in because it's a legitimate starting point. No one ever asked you, Rudy, what's your resume? Are you a CRS? Are you an ABR? No one cares, right?
Yeah, the consumers like options.
Yes. And that's why he's the best converter we have, because he's the best options dealer. And when he gets in there, he presents options. And now remember, they got in because of the cash offer discussion, but only 1% ever take it. The rest of them say, no, I'll go to market, sell my house. I'd love to get an extra 38 grand if you can do that for me. And you say, yeah, I just need some time. Give me 38 days and I can get that for you. So the DVD piece is one of many of Rudy's conversion pieces. So if you have an interest in it to see if you can't sign up online. We don't let people do that. We do offer a free, confidential, no obligation executive overview of the program. So Savannah, why don't you put the QR code up? People can hit the QR code. This will allow you to go ahead and then click that, and you will get your ability to go have an overview. Kipton is our person. Savannah, are you there, honey? I don't see you moving our QR code up there. If you could, that would be great. And if not, we'll make sure we put it in the chat so Rudy can have that. But yeah, you guys go ahead. We'll get an overview for you. We'll tell you first, is it available? Second, on availability, how many you have, and then whether you can get involved. And I'll tell you this, if you're an agent in California, do me a favor. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's your QR code. Hit that and it'll give you your executive overview. Don't reinvent the whole map and the wheel if you're in California. Call Rudy. Just call Rudy and go, hey man, can I come pick your brain? Can I talk to you? Or better yet, if you're a single agent looking to grow, why don't you just join his team? Rudy, I've known you now 15 years. I spoke at your team event 13 months ago. How many of your agents that joined your team doubled their business in the next 12 months?
Steve, 80% of the agents that completed our checklist. So we have our onboarding checklist and qualify to receive a company generated deal. 80% of them net an extra 100,000 net take home income within the first 12 months. But this is a system, like you mentioned just now. This is not for everybody. People that's coachable and willing to follow a proven system. And to tie it to going back to your DVD here, Steve, it's very easy to double your income now post NAR settlement, especially if, for example, when you work with buyers, Steve. Almost all of our buyers agents, Steve, that completed our buyer certification actually doubled their income post NAR settlement. And the reason is because of this. In the past, when you work with buyers, the MLS actually put a ceiling on your income. Now there is no cap, there is no ceiling. So what we do, we leverage the distressed sales that Steve gives us every single month here. And then when we work with buyers, basically we're selling buyers. Hey, buyers, when you hire me exclusively, you have access to homes, including homes that's not available online. And every day I'm going to proactively submitting an offer, looking for homes for you. Remember, price is only a factor in the absence of value. Price is only a function in the absence of value. So the buyers now see a lot of value when they work with us exclusively because now they can tap into access to homes that's not available online. So that's why it's a good thing with this post-NAR settlement.
You use it both ways. You use it with your buyer VIP packet to say, I think you buy from me 750 sellers a month in the greater LA area, right? Distressed sellers. So now they get, that's 10,000 over the course of a year. You're going to show buyers that have no idea this is available to them. And then conversely, when you list, you've got a network of buyers already built in looking in their area. And I'm telling you, Rudy, you made a great point. Our best teams, our best operators, Jason Mitchell, Rudy Kasuma, people that are operating, Tyler Blair, world-class teams, they're actually getting bigger post-NAR settlement. The ones that aren't, Rudy, are the ones that did not have a value proposition that now meets the consumer's expectation. Because you're going to have that. And more than ever, sales is one thing, knowing what to say and saying it right. Knowing what to say and saying it right. So many people got away with not having to say anything because in their mind, the buyer wasn't paying, quote unquote, the seller was. Those days are over. If you can't explain value within 30 seconds such that a third grader can understand it, you're going to have a hard time as we go forward because people like Rudy are going to keep getting better. Rudy, how do they join your team? What do they do? I know you have to go through a whole process, but what's the initial thing look like?
So if you're a real estate agent in the area, would like to learn more about our team system, go to www.agentsmastery.com, agentsmastery.com. So what I do, Steve, I put together a private backstage tour of our team system because as you know, right now, everybody is talking about a team. So we want to be clear. We may use the same words, but so what I do online, Steve, I create a virtual backstage tour so that way you as a real estate agent, you can see when we talk about a team, we are talking about our lead generation department. I'm going to walk you through our inside sales team. Like, for example, let's use distress sales as an example. So our lead gen is our distress sales. We input that into our CRM. We use Follow Up Boss. And then we have our inside sales team. We have 10 full-time inside sales specialists. Call, follow up, nurture that leads. And then our marketing team is the one that's doing the online database. And then from that, we book appointment to our outside sales team. Our outside sales team is the one that's dropping off the cash offers. And then when they're ready to buy and sell a house, when the timing is now, this is when you show up at the listing appointment. So basically, to get access to our virtual backstage tour, I put it all together online, www.agentsmastery.com.
I love this because I talked to a couple of your agents at your last event we were at together, and they boomeranged. They left and then came back to your team and they said, we didn't realize till we were gone how much Rudy does for us. If you heard it there, you buy all the lead sources. You have your own quality ISAs calling and setting quality confirmed appointments. All the agent has to do, once they have a signed contract, they give it to your transaction coordinator group. And then you go right back to right now business. You made a great point. Your agents outside sales only get business that's within the next 30 to 90 days. Everything else is nurtured by the company. So when these agents go out on their own, they're like, man, I got to buy the CRM. I got to pay for an ISA. I got to do all this stuff. Or I could just join Rudy and it's all done for me. This is agents. This is what you got to think about because this is the game going forward.
I think that's the future of real estate. Steve, why don't you share, because I know you talk to all the team all across the US, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, and I'll share your insights. I think my prediction is this: the team the real estate agents is gonna be made up of mega team. I think there is no more solo. I think if you're a solo agent, unless you are in a highly skilled, maybe in a Malibu selling a $50 million home, okay, maybe that's a different, I'm talking about bread and butter type of home. I think the concept is either you are a part of a team or you build your own team. So I think, so this is what I believe here in our office team, either you build your own team or you are a part of a team. And again, our definition of a team is where each individual person has a specific role in the home selling process. Can you share, Steve, some of your wisdom from hanging out with all the top agents all across? Like, what do you see where it's coming up, this post-NAR settlement?
I think this is important, and let's you and I make sure we separate what I call the luxury group, the people that are going to do 5 to 7 homes at $6 million. They can be on their own. They can be country club friends or Rotary friends, and that's fine. But if you're in the production business in real estate, trying to do 20, 30, 40 deals as an agent, what's happening with me is not only are my teams going to be, let me give you a great story. The second biggest team in all of Las Vegas, the number one team in Realty One, Brian Mitchell and Shad Williams, been there for 14 years, just joined the Jason Mitchell Group, who is the biggest team in the United States. Although Jason's a brokerage, he runs it like a team, a lot the way you do, Rudy, where you're like, okay, I'm running this as my team, but it's really a brokerage of 100 plus agents, but you're running it as a team. So now the biggest team who'd been at Realty One, the biggest team in Realty One in the United States, 23,000 agents, they left to go to a JMG Group, who's a team itself and a brokerage of 20 people. They brought 44 with them. Now they went because the team model is better suited for teams and for agents. The problem with the broker model is they're still trying to be in the brokerage business. And unless you're going to provide quality leads, the way Rudy does and Jason does, quality referrals, quality training, quality transaction management, quality sales facilitation, which means you're teaching people how to go get quality right now appointments. Unless you're doing that, you're going to have a hard time competing because, Rudy, we know guys that run a team. Basically, it's one credit card. They pay for a lot of stuff and their production covers their nut. And all these agents run all over the place. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about I know to join your team, it's like 7 steps that have to happen for you as an agent to even get there. And by the way, this is important because it's never who you fire in real estate that hurts you. It's who you keep. So you better make it hard to get on the team. And then such that when they're on there, then they've earned the right. You can help them win. If you hire a bunch of people and don't filter them out over time, the ones that stay and don't do really well, those are what costs you. Someone quits in 2 weeks, great. Someone quits in 3 weeks, great. Someone stays for 3 years and then quits, not so great.
Awesome, Steve. So thank you so much, you guys, for Steve, for coming in here today, for sharing the distress sales. And for the people, so going back to your distress sales, so that's how we do it in our team. That's how we nurture it. And then the agent that show up at your appointment, Steve, we also qualify that. Like you mentioned, there's 7. We call it ladder of success. There's 7 different steps. So before the agents, my agent partner show up at the listing appointments, especially on your distress sellers appointments, they have to complete the onboarding checklist. They have to close at least one on the buy side. They have to qualify on the seller side. That means they actually master the listing presentation. They know how to deliver multiple cash offers. We have our multiple cash offer program. And the last one, they actually have to go through a specialized training to handle distress sales, because these are different people who's going through, there are 15 different type of distress: divorce, probate, losing their job, income. So when we talk about team here, it's a team of specialists.
You have done that so well because not all of your 100 agents are in the DVD program. Only about 18 are. Just like all of your agents aren't in the Zillow program, only about 11 are. It depends on the level of skill. And this is what's going to happen, because that's why, Rudy, you've been able to grow every year, because you understand specialized skill in this game matters. Because the guy doing DVD leads his first month wasn't very good, but that agent by month 6 is unbelievable. By month 12, they know every question, every rebuttal, every objection. So as realtors, understand this, either bolt on to something that's offering this. Don't just stay there and become a fading winner down the track because you didn't have these things. These teams are getting bigger, and the big teams are joining bigger teams to get bigger. That's the reality.
So, Steve, let's conclude our podcast today here with your, give us your 3 tips. We have many real estate agents who are watching this, right? What do you see based on your observation all across, hanging out with the top teams across the nation? If you were to boil them, I know it's very hard, but we gotta end this podcast somewhere, right? So, if there are 3 things that you wanna give us your wisdom, what would it be to help real estate agents post NAR settlement?
I'm going to give you a couple things that are tactical and one strategy. Number 1, get back to open houses. Every one of my top 100 teams, all of which do over $210 million, all of them have a strong open house strategy. They hold them. They put out 25 right-hand read signs. They make sure they door knock 25 or 50 houses each way, inviting the neighbors to the neighbors only open house an hour beforehand. They make sure that they're there, they're present, there's music on, there's cookies baking. They make the open house an experience. They know that's to gather future sellers. They're not doing it to sell that open house. They know that house is going to sell because if it's priced right, it's going to sell. They want to gather consumers and get face-to-face to create ROR and proximity. So all of my teams have gotten very, very specific about how to do open house as well. If you hit me up, I'll send you out our top open house strategy from our largest agents in the United States. Number 2, post-NAR settlement, they've gotten very clear about culling their herd. So they might have had 25 agents in their team. Now my team leaders are getting aggressive about moving out some of those people who are not going to make the cut, who aren't going to training, who want to just do their 5 to 7 deals, but not really learn and don't, because now there's risk. Believe me, if you think the DOJ is done with real estate, that's mistaken. It's not true. The DOJ will absolutely be waiting for agents to say in a room, well, if you don't offer a commission, I don't know if anybody will show it, which is exactly what you say to get sued. So do you understand that really my top teams are focused on training? They use the word forget commission. You never say it's irrelevant to the seller. The seller cares about 2 things, time and net. And reason you offer commission so that buyer doesn't have to come out of pocket another $30,000 is because the affordability issue of the property you're listing goes down 31 to 38%. If you start having the buyer have to pay the buyer's agent out of their commission, you just took away 35+% of your eyeballs to your property. Less eyeballs mean less demand. Less demand means we get less for your property. If I can net you an extra $40,000 and we charge 10%, what does it matter? Does it matter to you, Mr. Seller? No, it doesn't. So this is much more about an affordability issue than it ever was a commission issue, but you need to explain it well. And my teams are focused on that. And lastly, and Rudy, you mentioned it, the acquisition of talent is a very, very top priority for my biggest entities. People like Jason Mitchell spend a lot of time acquiring talent because they know the talent acquisition opportunity the next 24 months is very, very, very large. Most of our consulting platform is about acquiring talent, whether that's in mortgage, title, real estate, etc. Whoever acquires the greatest amount of talent will absolutely win the race to the most profit. That's real simple.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve, for your time. I know you are super busy. Thank you for showing up here today. I'm looking forward to seeing you again at our next events, usually at least once a year. We see each other. My next event's coming up on December 12th in Orange County. Once again, thank you, Steve, for your time. Make it a great day, everybody. Go serve big.